This conference will now be recorded.
Going to go ahead and call the Richland City Council meeting of July 10th to order. All are present except for Lauren. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, I guess switch it up this week, right? Approve the minutes from the last meeting, June 26th.
Need a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the
I'll
agenda.
second that.
Have a motion by Jana, a second by Jason to approve the agenda.
Vote.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass. Consent agenda items.
Motion to approve consent agenda items.
I'll second that. Sorry.
Have a motion by Janda and a second by Jason to approve the consent agenda items. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass. Move down to public comments. That must be you.
Oh, okay.
So come up to the podium and I want you to state your full name and your address.
Okay. My name is Deborah Ann Loverank, and I live at 507 First Street Southwest. And the reason that I'm here is my concern, not only for us as a community, but for the individuals that for the last, I think it's going on 2 months now, have been living in, at least I know it's one person living in their vehicle on First Street Southwest. And I have addressed it with Chief of Police and with City Administrator. There has been, it sounds like, reasons for them expressing why they, or I don't know, I've only seen one, like wandering up onto our street and stuff up by my house, but apparently there's two there. But I have reasons to feel like there's reason to be concerned for their well-being and their safety and the needs that they might have and how we as a community are meeting those needs, and also the needs and concerns that we might have as a community. And I feel like there's a point, I've worked with this population for 7 years up in South Minneapolis, and I know that there are people that come on hard times. I know that there's a place for empathy and compassion. Most people that I've experienced that have been in a homeless situation, there's typically mental health issues, drug or alcohol concerns, there's physical health issues, they bring with them a sundry of, if there is drug and alcohol use, you've got public use, you've got them not getting the mental health care and the physical health care that they possibly need. And that also brings with it possible burglary situations where they might become desperate and need to be looking for food and money for drugs or alcohol, or it just brings with who knows what kind of criminal issues. And I think I realize that without any kind of legal concern or an ordinance that they're not abiding with, that people are feeling like their hands are tied, but I think we need to be careful not to be too naive or enabling or have people become apathetic or indifferent when it's obvious that they have needs. And as a community, we need to make sure that we're not allowing situations where, if this is, and as I've talked with people about it, it is happening more and more all over. Was just with my sister-in-law who works with adult protection the other day in Austin, they have a number of homeless people. It multiplies. And I think that that's a concern that we need to think about too. If our hands are tied, there's nothing we can do legally, there's nothing we can do as far as moving them on, then are we prepared to meet their needs here? If we end up with not just this man or these two people, are we prepared for the numbers who might come along? Do we have the facilities to find shelter for them? Can we meet their mental health needs, their physical health needs? Are we prepared for that then? Are we prepared for then as a community, the gouge that it causes with property value? If you or I or whoever decides to sell our house on First Street Southwest, how many people come onto that street going, well, this is great. I'd love to buy your house, with the homeless people who live on your street. It is obviously an unsavory situation, and I'm not trying to be unsympathetic or not have compassion either. But I think that we have to look at, I don't know if, what we're prepared for to handle them, or what else can be done. What can we, if you make the community aware of the situation with this gentleman or the two gentlemen, maybe as a community, can we all come together and give this guy what he needs? What does he need? Does he need a different car? Does he need his car to be fixed? Does he need a tow? Does he need, help what does he need help with? Maybe we can help him too, if everybody becomes aware. We're not just turning a blind eye to it, pretending it's not happening, have it blow out of proportion, and then we do have a situation that we just can't manage at all. It concerns me a little bit when we don't know anything about this guy or the two of them. As I drive through the streets and there's little girls out on their bikes heading to the store. There's teenagers out running by themselves, out jogging. I've changed my walk route, and not because I feel like because they're homeless, they're horrible people, but it's a situation that then it is unknown. It does cause fear. It does bring with it some of those unfortunate situations. And I think then, are we prepared for it? Every homeless person in the nation utilizes $30,000 to $40,000 worth of services in a year. Are we prepared as a community then, if we start to have more of this happening, are we prepared to meet the needs of these people? And are we prepared to deal with the unsavory things that it brings with it? I having worked with this population, having moved out of a situation where that is, even in the cities, we relocate homeless people that are too close to churches, too close to schools, too close to residences, too close to businesses. They're relocated. The people come together and the social services. Is there something we need to do to get that going faster? We've been talking about that since they were here for 2 weeks. Well, social services are involved. Waseca County's involved. Do we need to do something to expedite that? Can we as a community expedite that? Should more people maybe be placing reports? What can we do as a community to not only help them, but to help us not have this situation? I don't think we need to go, well, sorry, nothing we can do, and you all can, whoever wants to, can come and live on the street in their car, because we don't have an ordinance. Then can we rewrite ordinances? Can they be rewritten to protect ourselves from this happening? Maybe that's something that we as a community need to look at. But I just think that we can't just turn a blind eye or become apathetic or become indifferent or not try to help them to get what they need. I don't know if coming from where I've come from, I don't know if as a small community like this, if we're prepared for the impact. It could have a huge impact if you get more than one, more than two, more than 10. You know, I know that my neighbor called it in to the police the other day because they had stuff all over the church lawn and, you know, but they're still here, or he's still here, whoever it is, even after 2 months of they're giving excuses and we're hearing excuses and reasons why they're here. But then let's move it on. Let's be prepared for if we have others come in. And if we are gonna let them just set up residence, then I think we need to hold them to the same expectations that we're all held to. Have a home, pay your bills, keep your yard up. You know, there's, you know, just this weekend on our street, because of the parade, we had temporary no parking, and yet they were still parked there, even though, you know, it's like, so let's hold them to the same expectations then, if they're gonna take up residency here. Let's make them residents, instead of having it be that they're just taking it, I feel like, in a way, the community is being taken advantage of by them not feeling like they need to be a part of the community. And we're all working hard. We've worked hard all our lives. Gordy and I are retired. We came here purposefully because we are retired. We want a quiet, peaceful life. My grandson asked me today, why don't you and Papa Gordy take vacations? I said, because we're already kind of on vacation. We're in a nice, quiet little community that we love. We have wonderful neighbors. We love being here. We do the things we like. We're not trying to get away from anything. And why should we have a community where you feel like, hey, I need to get away from all this? And I feel like if we're just turning a blind eye and not doing everything we can to try to move this on, then we could have a situation explode on us. And I don't know if everybody's prepared for that. I've been in situations where that happens. I've seen it happen. It's sad for everybody. And I would like to stay here. I'd like to stay here. I'd like to know I'm safe in my house. I'd like to know my neighbors are safe. I'd like to know that we can walk wherever we want to. I like to know all that. That's why we're here. And so that's my case. Thank you.
We don't have a vagrancy ordinance?
It is not a crime to be homeless in the state of Minnesota. It was decriminalized. I already talked to our city attorney and he has nothing in any of the cities that he represents, and was gonna look for something, but that's been a week now and he's not aware of anything that would work with that, so. We can't take any action on it anyway because it's public comment, but you can definitely direct city staff to look into the situation further or whatever you'd like to do. Or you can just move on.
What do you guys want to do?
I'm thinking, the way I always think, I try and think outside of the box sometimes. Is there things that we could do, and I don't want to say be a pioneer, I don't even want to go there, but it's kind of like saying, could be we one of the first towns that put an ordinance in for saying, at least dealing with homeless people parking cars, not saying being homeless, but doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing.
But I think that's the problem that lies within, is the fact that they're not breaking any laws.
Because they're in a public.
But we can create an ordinance saying you cannot do certain things in our town.
Sure, you could create an ordinance saying that you're not allowed to park for more than 24 hours in one spot on a public street, but that means that in front of your house, in front of Jody's house, in front of her house, they'd have to move their cars every 24 hours, and that would be for every citizen in town.
Well, I mean, it all depends on the time frame. You know, what time frame do we want to set? And do we want them to not have their clothes or their personal belongings, that type of thing?
Like I said, can't take any action on other than
Right.
to either direct staff.
That's what I'm saying. I think for us to be a little bit forward looking, let's have you see if you can find anything out there that we could at least talk about in another meeting.
Yep, and I'm working on it with our city attorney, so as soon as I have anything, I'll come forward.
Move down to the ambulance report.
Sarah's not here.
She was coming, right?
He said in writing.
That's right.
So, Sarah Joe would like to move on from an EMR and go through and complete the EMT class. They'll have 3 people completing the EMT class.
Where do they do that at? Is
Is
Jennifer doing it or?
It's
Yeah,
online.
Jennifer Lacey's teaching the classes.
Okay.
Yeah. Jennifer.
And she's already a member.
She's already on the,
Squad.
so she did not, excuse me, put the dollar amount in there, so I don't know exactly what.
Let me-
Real quick.
Might be in their message here.
Says the class is $375 and it's online. Or is that?
Yeah.
No, that's the
That's the instructor.
That's the
That's the
instructor
instructor
training.
one.
We'll move on. Training, Jason's doing a great job with training. He's actually been here a few times during the day working on scenarios with some of the ambulance members. He's been doing a great job. She was gonna ask for approval for crew shirts, but she has received notice that the Grace of God Foundation will be paying for those shirts. So we do not need to approve that.
Cool.
I have started to work with her as well as many of their budget, or the department heads on the budget for next year, looking at needs, wants, all that kind of stuff. I'm hoping to have a preliminary budget to you. I was hoping for the second meeting in July, but I'm gonna be honest, it's gonna be the first meeting in August before I can get it done. And then Sarah would like to get an instructor certification for teaching EMR and EMT classes. Sarah Jo would like to do the same thing when she's finally an EMT. This would decrease our cost dramatically as far as training goes for the ambulance if we were able to do it in-house. So they'd like approval of $375 and it's
Per
online,
person.
but yeah, ×2 for her and Sarah Jo to do that. So if you wanna approve that, you can, that come out of the training budget.
I'll make a motion that we approve up to $375 apiece for that EMT training classes.
I'll second it.
Have a motion by Jason and a second by Janda to approve up to $375 per person for EMT class. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, pass.
That's it, right?
I wanna say it's like 1480.
She said something about is 1,900 for any EMT?
Yeah, I think, my best guesstimate would be probably around 2,000. I think if
Yeah.
you approve up to 2,500 for both of them, that should cover it.
And then I'll amend my motion to,
Yeah, I guess up to $5,000 for the two of them.
I'll make that
You're
motion.
amending it?
Yep.
Okay, I'll second it.
Have a motion by Jason and a second by Janda to approve up to $5,000 for EMT school. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, pass.
And then Sarah said, anytime you guys have any questions or anything like that, she'd be more than happy to sit down and talk with you about what's going on in the ambulance, but things look like they're going on track the way that they should, so. That is it for the report.
Make a motion to accept the ambulance report.
I'll second.
Have a motion by Jason and a second by Jody to accept the ambulance department report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, pass. Fire department report.
June, 4 total calls, a motor vehicle accident, 1 fire call, 2 medicals. They did pump training this month, and that is the fire department.
What does the pump training consist of?
Working people through how to use how to pump with fire trucks, so hooking up to a hydrant, hooking up to
They
a
go
drop
out, they go
tube.
out in the town somewhere?
Usually we do it down on 7th Street just because there's nobody around there. Yep. So, but knowing how to adjust the pressures and fill the tank and tank to pump and straight off the hydrant, that kind of stuff, so.
Make a motion to approve the fire department report.
I'll second it.
Have a motion by Jody and a second by Janda to approve the fire department report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, pass. Police department report.
All right.
Hello.
You.
We responded to 61 calls for service in the month of June. It is lower, obviously, because the county is taking calls. Any super important calls, well, all calls are important, but the ones that need follow-up, they email to me and then I follow up on it the following day. Total calls through June of this year is 548. Total calls through last year is 726. Again, down because county is covering. Farm and City Days in June, obviously, was this weekend. We had 5 posse members help. They did a total of 27.75 hours. At $25 an hour would be just under $700 towards the posse. So they told me that half of that goes back to each individual member, and then the rest of it goes into the general fund, so that everybody's kind of getting a little bit of everything. Didn't have any incidents over the weekend.
Good.
It was
So-
pretty low key.
It was everyone is very well behaved, if you want to call it that. Information, continued open communication with the sheriff's office. I'm on the phone with them almost daily, if not a couple times a day, just talking about different calls, different concerns that the community or I have, or really anything. We're pretty constant. We're in constant communication. As of tomorrow, there will be 5 letters sent out for grass and weeds, which is significantly lower than it was last month, which is good. Training and education, I've got to go to St. Cloud for EVOC refresher. That's every 5 years. So you get to drive fast and fun and do a lot of fun things that you are not allowed to do if you're not a cop. Firearms, taser, and use of force annual qualification refresher. I did that with the sheriff's office on the 20th. Personnel, 3 background packets have been handed out, 1 completed. I'm asking approval to hire 1 full-time and 2 part-time pending medical and psychological evaluations. No purchases, no squad maintenance, no equipment. Upcoming events, Finley's Wings at Work. That's Saturday, the 29th. They're having a golfing tournament and then the band. So I'll be working that Saturday. And then Night to Unite is August 8th, tentatively. So, any questions?
So you need approval on those new hires?
Yes, please.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Have a motion by Jody and a second by Jason to approve up to 3 hires pending medical and psych evals. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, passed.
I'll make a motion, we accept the police report.
I'll second it.
Have a motion by Jason and a second by Janda to accept the police department report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed,
Thanks, Denise.
public hearing for vacating alley.
Yeah, I apologize. So basically what happened was you guys approved that for this meeting, and between the 4th of July and Juneteenth and everything else that was going on, I missed the paper the first week in order to get it published 2 times before the hearing. So we need to delay the hearing until July 24th. So it'll go into this week's paper and next week's paper, and then we'll have the hearing on the 24th of July at 6:35, as long as you set that hearing for that time.
Motion.
Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
A motion by Janda and a second by Jason to approve the public hearing on July 24th, 2023 at 6:35. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass. Purchasing tabbing machine for water sewer bills.
All right, so we are required by the post office to tab 2 tabs on every single bill that we send out every month in order for them to go through their automatic paper feeder now that they no longer do anything locally and they send it all to the cities. Sarah Jo spends close to 2 hours every time to do it, and it just ends up taking 6 hours by the time people come in and out and move around and things like that. So I would like to purchase this tabbing machine, and I know the cost looks ridiculous, but that's the cheapest one that you can find. But it would save almost an hour every month in getting those bills ready. It would be split between the water and sewer funds, $790.75 per fund. As you do know, we did institute that capital charge on the water and sewer bill, so we would pay for it out of those funds.
No, we would own it then?
Yes, no, it's ours.
There's no rental?
No.
The ones that are,
No, and the thing with this one is we do use 1-inch tabs right now, but there are some postage that requires 1.5-inch tabs. So this machine will do either or. So our concern was if we bought the 1-inch tabber and then the post office decided to change that everything had to be 1.5, then we'd have to go back and buy a new one. This one does both. It's like $200 more than the 1-inch one.
so this one will fold it and everything?
No, this is just to put the little round sticker.
Do they have anything where it folds like a?
Yes, and those
Trifold?
machines are about $4,500. So.
Well, I know, I use one.
Are you gonna use tabs that cut open easier? The ones you
These
got
are
now?
these are perforated. These are
The
perforated.
ones we got now will rip the page.
Yeah, they do.
These are perforated in the center. The thing with the thing that Sarah's doing now is she's taking the roll in hand, putting them on every single one. So if that line that's pre-perforated is this way or that way,
Yep.
this way it'll be the same spot every time.
Cool.
You don't use your letter opener?
I rip that page every time.
Me too.
I'll make a motion that we spend that $1,581.49. It's done between the both funds.
Second.
Have a motion by Jason and a second by Jody to approve 1581.49 split between the two funds for tabbing machine. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass. Authorize Legion Field fence replacement down payment.
All right, as you are aware, the city of Richmond budgeted $55,000 for Legion for fencing Legion Field for 2023. Majority of this funding is coming from the paid in advance lease by the New Richmond School District for the next 5 years. They're going to pay their $50,000 up front for the next 5 years. Additionally, put $20,000 in the capital fund for a total of $75,000. Karen Fence was a low bid. They'll be available to install fencing the first couple weeks in August. Total cost of the project installed is $56,725. We are saving $7,500 by removing the old fencing ourselves. So Eric is gonna remove the old fencing as well as the second fence on the back side of the softball field at the same time. And that'll go as scrap to Miskins. And then we need to pull the bleachers back, and then Karen Fence will come in and install the fence. So.
It's all chain link, isn't it?
Yep. It'll look pretty similar to what's out there, but the backstop will be a little bit differently. As you know, there's pipes and stuff that are almost falling off the backstop. Legion of Cities is concerned for our insurance stuff. So in order to do that, we need to pay half of it down, which is $28,362.50, and then the remaining on the completion of the project. And then once the project is completed, I've talked to the school and they will be paying their lease payment to us for that cost. So.
Make a motion to approve, to go ahead and send the payment.
Sure.
I'll second that.
A motion by Janda and a second by Jason to approve half down payment to Karen Fence. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass. Administrators report.
All right, I spoke with the city attorney regarding street vacation and EDA items. I am pleased to announce that the May 11th, 2023 flood was recognized by the state of Minnesota as a disaster for assistance. So what that means for us is that anything that's basically not covered by insurance can be covered by the state disaster fund. So we'll be looking to fine tune our stuff and make sure that we have everything taken care of. I did get word over the weekend that the fridges that are in the concession stand at the Legion Field that we thought were okay have now conked out because of that. So those will have to be replaced as part of that.
I think in the process of that, we build something or have somebody make something and get them up off.
I'd like to, but when you got water in there, that's this high.
I hear you, but
Every little bit helps.
So
Yeah.
that's just kind of
So it's convenient.
this week, Wednesday, Eric and myself will be meeting with Bolton and Mink regarding the 2024 street improvement projects. With that, we're gonna be discussing the parking, school is doing the parking lot next year, and at the same time we're doing that, we're gonna address School Street, and so we're working with Bolton and Mink because that's the school's engineer on that project, and so we're gonna try to spearhead that, so it's all done at the same time. We still have not received the care center audit. So I did file an extension with the state. We have, I believe, until the 15th or 30th, August 3rd, end of August to provide our audit. I did speak with Dale on the phone last week and expressed my extreme displeasure with their
we had this issue last
slow
year.
problems that they've been having. And his response to me was, well, we're trying to train some new people in, and so it takes a little longer than normal.
Our side of it's ready to go though, right?
Our audit's been done since May, but we cannot submit our audit
Without
until
the
the care
care center.
centers comes in because it's an enterprise fund of the city.
I understand.
So I did talk to Lindsay and I talked to Bob at the care center, and I said, next year, I don't necessarily have a problem if they want to stay with Clifton. I thank Dale for the very long relationship that we've had together, and I just explained to him that, this is not a good thing for us to have to be backed up into this. And I did express my concern to Lindsay and Bob over at Care Center, and I said, if we do contract with them, there needs to be some hard dates in the contract as far as deliverables. And if they're not delivered on that time, there needs to be some discounts on the audit. Because their year ends in September. So they started this August back in October. We didn't start ours till March, and ours is done. So it's stuff that's gotta be done. I'll be meeting with Houston Engineering sometime this week regarding the hydraulic study to kind of get that all working. Emails went out to department heads about the 2024 budget to put together wants, needs, requests, and that stuff. And so we'll start hammering those things out. The liquor licenses for on and off sale have all been issued. They came back from the state and have been put out. Scheduled leach field upgrades, and we are discussing scoreboard out there. We got some people interested in helping us fundraise and pay for the scoreboard, so that hopefully will be another discussion. Employee recognition, Coleman has a birthday on the 17th. Russ has been with the ambulance for 2 years. And that's what I have for you.
Any word on the smoke testing? Have they done any of that?
Shell was in today. She printed off all the signs. They are going to be hanging signs tomorrow on the residences that they're planning on doing smoke testing on. And the plan is hopefully Wednesday, but it'll be either Wednesday or Thursday when they do them. She's gonna let me know tomorrow for sure what day it's gonna be, and we will put that out via mobile text alert and the website and Facebook and all that stuff. So
What are certain things that people might come across with the smoke test?
if they see any smoke
Coming
out of a drain in their basement or their gutters or something like that, it means something is connected wrong the way it should not be connected.
Just in case we get calls.
Yeah, don't be alarmed. it's more than likely because of that smoke testing. But every house that's going to be affected by that or should be affected by that will have either a yellow, I think it was yellow and orange, third of a page that she's gonna hang on the doors.
So do they want them to call if they see something?
For sure, yep, absolutely. But rural water is gonna be here monitoring, so
They'll see.
yeah, they should, anything outside for sure they will see, or they should see.
Is that the whole town?
Nope, it's just gonna be Highway 30 and south. For sure, school area, 4th, South Broadway there, and then potentially maybe, Aspen.
Also.
I don't think they're gonna go that far, not this time around. That's where we have the problem with, we have about 470 to 480 water bills, and there's about 150 in that area that drain into the same spot. So that's the primary focus at this time.
Are you gonna give results of that to that hydraulic study people?
Well, we'll share it with them for sure.
Because that'd help,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
What time are they gonna start smoke check?
I have no idea. Shell will let me know tomorrow for sure.
During the day.
Yeah, it'll be during the day. Yep.
Is there any smell to that smoke?
I don't believe so.
Do we need to
Approve the report.
Normally you do.
Motion to approve the minister's
I'll
report.
second that.
I have a motion by Janda, a second by Jason to approve the minister's report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, right?
I don't see anything else.
I have a motion to adjourn. Have a second by Janda. All in
Yes.
favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We're adjourned. 7:00.